All right, I've got the rear main seal here. This is the new one. I just kind of started it as best I could with my fingers, make sure it's nice and even. And I've got a nice flat piece of 2x4. Just gonna hammer it in, making sure I keep it straight. Turn it. Make sure it's going on straight. Looks like I need to hit this end some more. And running it on the side like that will ensure that it's hitting it on the metal, and the rubber will ensure that it's nice and even all the way around. I think that's going to be it. I'm going to take and put a little grease on the seal itself. Make sure it goes on nice and good. That'll make sure, kind of help keep it moist. Alrighty, I like using the right stuff. I'm going to clean all this up with brake cleaner as well as the block. Already got my plug in. And put some of that right stuff on there. This thing doesn't actually have a gasket, just RTV. Alright, we got everything cleaned up. I sprayed some brake cleaner in all the holes, and then I blew it out with compressed air. I got all my bolts down here. Y'all can't see them, but I'm gonna drop a drop of blue Loctite on each one of them. So the manual actually doesn't call for Loctite on any of these bolts, but I'm doing it just for safe measure. Even though these weren't loose, I don't want them to come loose. So I got the right stuff. I bought this tube here and it always clogs up, so I end up having to break it. I'm not gonna buy, I love this stuff, but I don't like this particular canister of it, so I have to use a nail now to get it out. But I'm gonna spread this all over. Alrighty, the dial's face down. That seal fits on there real loose too, just like the one that came off of it. Get my hammer. I bought a brand new case. I bought a brand new case and a seal. I didn't know if that case was going to be warped or anything like that. So the book calls for 20 foot-pounds of torque. I went ahead and when you do this, when you're tightening them and when you go to torque them, I like to do a cross pattern. All right, so I got 25 foot-pounds on my torque wrench here, and we're gonna tighten it up. And I'm going to keep on going with it, just to make sure they're all equal. Alright, so I went all the way around it multiple times until no more were moving, and that'll fix that. Give you all a little look at it. RTV pushed out in all the directions. That's good. So got our plug in there. New plug sits nice and flush. Alright, I forgot to record putting the bell housing on, but I put some blue RTV, cleaned everything up, just put a little bit of blue RTV around there. The manual does say to put some sealant there, but mainly about the only thing that's going to do is keep all the oil inside of here so you can't see it when it starts leaking right away. So put that down pin in the wrong spot. Maybe. I did. I put that down pin in the wrong spot. I am gonna have to. There we go. It looks like there's a bolt that goes there, but it's not. So I got red Loctite on all these bolts I'm putting in, and like I said, the manual doesn't actually tell you to put it on there like I thought it originally did. It tells you to put a Loctite sealant where I got the blue RTV, not on the actual bolt holes. I don't know what it is about this manual, if it's a language barrier from South Korea to English or what, but it tells you to torque these bolts at 65 pounds. However, it says it's an M12 bolt when really it's an M10 bolt. So I'm gonna crank this thing to 65 and see just how it feels. If it feels like it's stretching that bolt, I'm gonna back off of it. That feels pretty good. Two up here that are a little bit bigger. I'm gonna go get a socket that fits them. I believe it's gonna be a 17 millimeter, and I'm just gonna send them home with the impact with some red Loctite. So there we go. We're getting close to getting it back together. Didn't like much. Give me some help over here, and I'll throw y'all up on the time lapse while we stab it all back together. If I come across any tips and tricks on what might make it go back together easier, I will let y'all know. All right, a couple things I forgot to do and mention in the last video is, first one is turn this thing landscape so Mike Joe Blow from Wisconsin will subscribe to my channel. But so the studs, there is 10 bolts total for the bell housing. 6 of those are bolts. 4 of those, 2 on top, 2 at the bottom, are studs with nuts. When I undid the top 2, the nut and the stud came out. So as you've seen in the time lapse, I broke the nut off the stud, put the studs back in. That'll help lining that thing up way easier. If you put caps on all your hydraulic lines like I did, make sure you go ahead and get them off before you start sandwiching it closed, because some of these are so close you won't be able to get them off. But a couple things I forgot to mention on the hydraulic lines is there's a bracket right here on this side. You got to take them bolts out of there, so don't forget to put them back in. And then on this side there's a bracket right here. I mean, I know this stuff's obvious, but just so you don't go pulling on it and forgetting it, going by my video 100%, don't forget to do that one. And then also you have to take the starter off to get the bell housing off, which you seen me, I took my pry bar in here and moved these flywheel, the rings for the starter. I had to move the motor when I got it all sandwiched together so that that shaft will line up in there. It's real easy. If you just come in here with a big flat head screwdriver pry bar, it turns real easy. You don't have to break off your teeth or anything on your flywheel. Just move it real easy and it'll get that shaft lined back up. So I've got all 10 of the flywheel bolts on it. I got them semi-tight with the ratchet wrench. I'm gonna go back with my just regular wrenches where I can put some cheetah wrenches on it and get them ooga-dooga tight. And then we'll start hooking all of our lines and everything back up. And if I come across anything I may have missed or any tips and tricks, I'll let y'all know. I did put some grease on the shaft. That way it would go in real easy. And also, I don't know if y'all seen me, I put some grease on. I had a little trouble getting that steering U-joint off, so I didn't put any grease on it, but I put some PB Blaster on there, cleaned it up with a wire brush, put some more PB Blaster on there, and that'll help get that thing back on sooner. My return line, I didn't feel like there's a cooler under there. I didn't feel like fighting it. This thing's not under any pressure, so I just cut it in half. I bought a new barb fitting to put right there on the fuel return line. That thing's not under any pressure. So just a standard barb fitting with a hose clamp will do just fine on that. I can't think of anything else. I still got y'all on time lapse over there, so we're gonna start putting our lines, starter, all that good stuff back together after I get these bell housing bolts dog tight. I'll probably do the steering first, so alrighty. I want to show y'all how y'all can get more oil in an oil filter. And when you're mounting it horizontal like this application is, so you don't have to put it on dry. Right now, if you turn this oil filter over, it's going to spill oil all over the place. But if you take and rotate it as you're turning sideways like this, it'll fill that joker up. I got it probably halfway full right now, and I'm all the way horizontal. So now I can go ahead and put that thing in there and not have to worry about a bunch of oil leaking out of it. Just Turn it, turn it, turn it, turn it until you get it, and put the screw on there. Guys, we got some temperature in it. It's been running 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes, something like that. Filled her all up with fluid, and we don't have the first leak. Anything we busted out, there's no leak, no oil on the ground. Running good. Heater's already blowing hot, so don't believe I got any air in the we're gonna call that a wrap.